G'day there guys, favourite music videos as a kid were My, and Hot in Here by Nelly for obvious reasons. Back at it again with another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. Now if you love today's content like I love you, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the Barbie, a like on the video, and enjoy the bloody good content. Posted by user Southern Culture TW. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that his culture is garbage, and I won't compromise by incorporating it into our family life? My husband and I live in the US Northeast, where I am from. John moved here for work several years ago from the deep south of the US where he grew up, raised with Christian holidays, but never attending church. Coincidentally, shortly before everything hit, John's parents and his childhood best friend Dan and his wife decided to move here as well. This past weekend was the first that us three couples have gathered together since any of us moved here. We had a distanced picnic at our house. John sat down 2 to 3 minutes after I did, as he was setting our kid into his pen in the backyard with us. Dan and my father-in-law immediately started to jokingly rip on him for being whipped and doing my job of parenting our child while he was supposed to be allowed to just catch up with the other two men. I was trying to politely deflect when it turned to how mean I was for not fixing him a plate and serving him before serving myself. If I thought a certain dish would run out before he got to it, or if he had asked me to, I of course would have. Dan and father-in-law continued to brag about how their families do it right, where they handle the outside chores while their wives handle the inside chores, including the care of Dan and his wife's 2 children. I think it's important to note here that both currently live in rented condos that by their nature do not have outdoor chores, and both their wives have always worked full-time, as I do. The whole day was kind of wrecked by that start, and I was frustrated when John left with Dan and father-in-law to go for a walk and left me to do all the cleanup alone while also looking after our kid. I expected John to apologize when he returned hours later, but instead he had a go at me for making him look bad in front of his friend and dad. He brought up how a traditional division of labor is a huge part of Southern culture, and how I was being disrespectful to his background by forcing Northern culture onto him and his family. He said he's been building up a lot of resentment the past few months that I make him do half the chores and childcare, since in his culture, women do the chores and hands-on childcare, and men do the fun parenting, the discipline, mow the grass, and bring in the cars for oil changes when needed. I was stunned, but honest, and I told him that Southern culture is garbage. It's bigotry, and I lived in John's home state for 8 years, and I saw how Southern hospitality is reserved only for those in your in-group. Deviate from the norm, be like queer, non-Christian, a POC, a liberal, a non-traditional woman, and they turn on you viciously. Does every single person act like that always? No, but it's the culture. John is livid and says that his culture is just as valid as that of other global regions, religions, and ethnic groups. So I am the bigot by not compromising with him here and incorporating aspects of his culture into our family life the way I would if his culture was Islamic or Asian or whatnot. I think John needs to go sit down for a bit. I don't know what's going on there. I can definitely see why people from that culture, as they like to call it, would think that she's an a-hole for not conforming to their beliefs, or conforming to what they think is the right thing to do in their mindset. But coming from my perspective, it's a very bad family dynamic there. It's not the right thing to do, and you would not be an a-hole for rebelling against it and asking for an equal split of chores and not to be looked down on as less than. In many ways, what? You're below me, you do this work, it's your job, it is not my job. That is to look at someone as less than, and it's unacceptable. So OP is not the a-hole, but I can see why people in that group would think that OP is an a-hole, but I believe they are wrong. That's my opinion. Not the a-hole. Screw that. John better knock that sexist crap off, or he'll be a single father soon. Right? If I recall, Paying child support, hardly ever seeing your kids, and drinking yourself to death is also Southern culture. John has a lot to look forward to. He can be free of pesky Northern traditions like 50-50 custody very soon. I second what you said. Southern woman here, and I feel for you so much. I have a wonderful husband that would never expect any of that from me. He's also from the South, but I know for a lot of people, that's how it is. I would personally go on strike and do nothing until he apologized and agreed to couples therapy. I'm about to marry a Southern man I've been with for 7 years. We are each frustrated that the chores we learned as children followed traditional gender roles, i.e., he's frustrated that he doesn't know how to cook, and I'm frustrated that I don't know jack crap about lawn care. We are each working to figure these things out. We thank each other frequently for household contributions. He would never expect me to automatically fix a plate of food for him at a gathering or assume all childcare duties if we had kids. Because although his upraising left out a few things, he was raised right. OP's husband sounds like a spoiled brat who wasn't raised for the give and take of adulthood and marriage. To address the other side of the argument, I'm dating a South Asian man who has learned to cook since we got together because I made it very clear that not being able to chop onions with confidence did not excuse him from helping. I was not prepared to do all the physical and mental work of feeding us for him to do all the washing up. He now regularly sends me recipe ideas, and the giveaway to his mum that he had got a girlfriend was that he had asked for Indian recipes that he had grown up eating. If he refused to learn to cook or stuck to his parents' gender roles, I would have told him to go home and get arranged like his cousins. Posted by user ThrowRA titled, Am I the a-hole for telling a girl it's not my fault she's overweight? So, I'm underweight. I am a literal twig, relatable, and have fast metabolism too. It's not fun at all, cause I can eat a whole chicken and barely gain weight, and the just eat comments from people get on my nerves so much. There is this girl, let's call her S. I don't really know her a lot, but she's friends with someone in our friend group and in our chat. S is overweight and very self-conscious. She's also very overbearing and loves to argue over the little things. So we were video chatting, me, her, and a few other people. We were talking about something, and then S somehow starts talking about weight. S over here says that I'm a twig and asks if I diet because it's going overboard if I do. So, of course, I don't say anything, and then S continues and says she wishes she was like me because I have the easy life. At that point, my friends told her to stop, and she keeps going and asks me if I eat at all sometimes. What really made me mad was when she asked if I starved myself or if I had an eating disorder. I told her not everyone here gains weight easily, and that being skinny and healthy are not the same thing, in terms of health, and that it's not my fault she's overweight or has slow metabolism. That was a low blow, but I was so tired of her little comments. She started crying and said how she's so self-conscious of her weight and she was just complimenting me, then left the call. A few of my friends are on my side, but some say that I should not have attacked her in that subject. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Y'all, I'm a girl. Edit. Skinny does not equal healthy, mostly. Also, I'm not trying to say fat shaming isn't bad. Honestly, it's worse than skinny shaming in my opinion, and I'm lucky that I can eat without getting lots of weight, but it's annoying sometimes. But I don't think eating disorders are complimenting. Calling someone a twig isn't either. Also, saying just eat doesn't work either. Like damn, never thought of that, hey? Don't say eat less either. Just don't skinny and fat shame in general, people. We are all teens, by the way, between 16 and 17 years old. Okay, with that extra information, 16 and 17, it's pretty much expected territory. It's not acceptable, but it's much more common than I've seen in adults. Jesus, the amount of bullying that I got for being a twig from the ages of 12 to now. My god, people are savage. I don't think it's particularly nice to say, But if you're being bullied about the exact same subject, in my books, I give you a free pass to fire back. You wouldn't be the a-hole if you fired back. I know an eye for an eye makes the world blind, but when it comes to this subject, I don't care. Go ahead, do what you want, fire back. If they're gonna attack you for your weight, you attack theirs, and you show them how it feels. Because then they can understand how it feels to be attacked for your weight, because they're excusing their behavior, it sounds like. So yeah, OP is not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She was being offensive, you only faced it with facts. Yeah, she was really just asking for pushback. She shouldn't be mad that she got it. Her comments were not compliments either. Right, WTF? You look like you have an ED is not a compliment at all, and neither is calling someone a twig. Yeah, I don't understand why people crucified others for fat shaming, but find it acceptable to slim shame or skinny shame. In both cases, they're criticizing and shaming your body, and not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She brought it up and was warned to stop. Anything beyond that is her own damn fault. As you've said, skinny doesn't equal healthy, and she has no business trying to judge you on your size. Not the a-hole. She was insulting you and then got mad that you said something back. She should have thought through her words better. I'd say everyone sucks here, honestly. She sucks because you shouldn't talk about anyone else's weight unprovoked, and she was saying crappy things, although I can see as someone who is also overweight how she could think what she was saying was a compliment, though that could just be me trying to give the benefit of the doubt. It's still her projecting her weight-related self-image issues onto you and is completely tone-deaf, insulting, and self-centered. I say you suck also, although much less than S, because no one likes being called overweight despite how true. There is definitely a stigma associated with it, and overweight people already know that they are overweight. In the same way you don't appreciate your weight being talked about, it was a low blow. Posted by user ProfessionalTax743, titled, "Would I be the a-hole for not attending my best friend's gay wedding because of my inheritance?" Not one of these ones again. Long story short, and I think I screwed myself here. My 29 male best friend, 28 male, is getting married at the start of October at a smaller gathering at a family friend's banquet hall catered by his family. He is, obviously, gay. My mum is extremely homophobic and in poor health at 65. Diabetes, obesity, family history of heart conditions, and smoking. I'd be very surprised if she made it another election cycle. 4 years. She never liked my friend, but let it go once I became engaged to my current fiancé, probably because she thought I might be gay. I told her I was going to not only be at the wedding, but the best man at the wedding, and she flipped out. My dad passed away about 5 years ago and provided very well for us. Annuity, stocks, and 2 property houses rented out. And my mum knew the power that has. Even split with 2 other brothers, I will inherit well over 5 million. Her words were, if you go to that F-word wedding, we'll see how much you get. Unfortunately, I told her the date before this point, and she'll know where to expect me on that day. I've tried to get her to be reasonable, but she isn't budging. She's been a bitter, hateful woman for 60 plus years, and she's going out a bitter, hateful woman. I told my best friend, and he is furious with me, as is my fiancé. We are very well off. I'm a pharmacist who hasn't felt the effects of the pandemic at all, to be honest, and she's a human resource associate. We are extremely comfortable and have never stressed over money, but we're not millionaires, which we could be. I asked my best friend if he would consider a long engagement. Him and his fiancée proposed and planned the wedding inside a year, and my mum is not going to last much longer, but he isn't concerned beyond, "You are choosing your homophobic mum over me." That line hurt me, and I'm just choosing her money right now, but even that doesn't seem like it's worth it. My fiancée has said she knows it's a lot of money, but she says that we have 6 figures in the bank already, and my job has no threat of downsizing or phasing out. Still, I would be set for life and take a 10 plus start on my retirement, and he is not willing to find a compromise at all. Not that he should have to at the end of the day. Would I be the a-hole if I don't attend my best friend's gay wedding? Edit 1. Honestly, the more I typed out my question, the more obvious it was. I couldn't even spin it to make me not sound like the a-hole. Yeah, for some reason this is voted as everyone sucks here, but who's the other party in this one exactly? I mean, he is an a-hole for doing it, but it's completely up to him if he wants to sacrifice all of these relationships with people for $5 million. A lot of people would do that. Genuinely, a lot of people would do that. And that's the unfortunate reality of life. A lot of people would accept their judgments and they'd happily walk out with $5 million, possibly breaking a marriage and breaking a lifelong friendship. Oh god. So yeah, I do think he's the a-hole. I think that the mother is the a-hole also for holding those views. Nothing much else to say, no one else sucks besides those two. Forget about the wedding for a minute. Your mum has just declared the terms of play until she dies. The game will be that she controls your every move, you comply and do not object, and in exchange you might be wealthy at some undetermined future time. She could die tomorrow, or she could live another 25 years. The really nasty ones seem to hang on much longer than seems reasonable, and she might, or might not, depending on her whim, bequeath you $5 million. That is, if she hasn't spent it, lost it in a scam, updated her will improperly, or dozens of other reasons beyond your control that the money may or may not even be there. Are you willing to accept the terms of the game for an opportunity to inherit? Sounds like an unappealing way to live for years to me, but we all have to make our own choices. Everyone sucks here, your mum for proposing the game, and you for playing it. Yes, this at OP. Who's to say your mum won't cut you out for another reason in the future, and then all you have is a broken long-term friendship and your 6-figure bank account to cry into? Quit counting on money that you aren't guaranteed, and be a better friend. You're the a-hole. Yes, if you're going to make it a financial transaction, seriously force it into a trust on the condition that you don't attend that event. Don't leave it to chance. I don't have enough knowledge to be informed about practical solutions here, but I also wonder if OP's brothers or their spouses are in his corner here, or are at least resenting being bound by similar constraints. Could they all discuss this? Perhaps come to some contingency agreements about dividing the inheritance? Hell, is Mummy even mentally competent enough to change her will if her kids all pull whatever evidence they have that indicates that she isn't? From a moral standpoint, I'd have far fewer reservations about conspiring against this old creep than I would about leaving my best friend at the altar. There's a lot of people that are going to pretend they have the moral fortitude to turn down $5 million and call you an a-hole. They are being dishonest. You're just going to do whatever feels right for yourself here. There is no right answer. Your mum is the a-hole. Edits. I just want to say not the a-hole. I also want to add that your gay friend is an a-hole too. My friends would all tell me to take the money. We just did a poll in our group message. 7 out of 7 people expect 7 out of 7 people to take the money every time. There are a lot of morals I'd compromise for $5 million. Hell, for $500,000. That doesn't mean I wouldn't be an a-hole for doing so. This right here, it's kind of bananas people are telling him to walk away from it. So easy to say when it's not your money. Still an a-hole, but I really can't blame you for it. You may lose your friendship over this. It's not like money is some kind of frivolity, especially during a complete economic collapse. If OP doesn't need it, and he may, who knows how secure his job really is, who knows when an illness might bury the family in medical bills, his best friend very well might, and disowned gay teens who have been victimized by nasty old freaks like OP's mother definitely do. If OP is looking for a way to have his morality cake and eat his inheritance too, there is your solution. Not the a-hole. If I told my best friend who was gay and was my best man that I was missing his wedding because of a potential $5 million, he would wish me luck and call me after the honeymoon. If you can somehow actually afford to pass on $5 million, then things change. But if your net worth is under $10 million, My back of the envelope math for never work again money, this seems totally understandable. Right? I feel like my friends would be pretty understanding. I'd send a life-sized cardboard cutout of myself, then maybe pay off their mortgage, lol. Still sucks bending to the will of this evil tramp. Posted by user Am I the A-hole No Cheese? Titled, Am I the A-hole for forcing my boyfriend to do the dishes? I'm lactose intolerant. Every time I make tacos, my boyfriend always makes jokes about how I'm disrespecting Mexican culture by not having cheese in my tacos. I've told him multiple times I'm not going to give myself the craps just to make him feel better about my friggin' tacos. He's not even Mexican, he's white. This came to a head last night when we were having tacos again, and I got up to the bathroom, and when I came back, I noticed my taco looked tampered with. I go to inspect, and lo and behold, there's fudging cheese buried beneath the other ingredients. I told my boyfriend he was a raging douche canoe, and I went to bed, leaving him to do the cleanup. I still haven't spoken to him all morning, and he's complaining about how I forced him to do the dishes, because normally I do them. Am I the a-hole here? I don't even know if he would think you're an a-hole. I think he knows exactly what he did. I think your actions are justified there. I think it was, a nice way to go about it. No more, no less was a nice way to deal with the situation. It didn't make anyone too angry. I don't think you're an a-hole for doing what you did. It was nice and controlled, OP. You don't want to have to be forced to eat something that's going to give you flatulence or anything else, and I don't blame you. So you are definitely not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, but is this really the relationship you want to be in? Do Mexicans use cheese in tacos? I thought that was a Western tradition. He tried to make you ill. He should be glad you aren't forcing him to clean the toilet after you accidentally ate cheese. It is brought to my attention that Mexico is geographically in the West. Sorry to anybody that felt I tried to move them. OP says, I didn't eat any, fortunately. I saw it before taking a bite. OP, he literally tried to poison you. He put an additive into your food that he knew would cause you physical distress. Who cares about the dishes? Although amazing how easily he made himself the victim here. The real question is, how much do you value your physical safety versus how much you value this relationship? If I were you, I'd be out of there, or kick him out, today. Putting me in physical distress and danger is a red line for me in a relationship, and I hope you respect yourself enough to take a really hard look at whether or not this relationship is in your best interests. So much this, OP. You are not the a-hole. Your boyfriend is an incredibly irresponsible, stupid, and dangerous person to have in your life. He intentionally, as other commenters have said, poisoned your food. You need to get away from this guy quickly as possible. Not the a-hole. Your boyfriend is an a-hole and an idiot to boot. Not all tacos in Mexico are eaten with cheese. Arguably, the majority do not have cheese. I'm Mexican, and no, Mexican tacos don't have cheese. Quesadillas are kind of tacos with cheese. Just mentioning quesadillas makes me want quesadillas. Haven't made them in too long. I've told him this before, and he doesn't listen. If, and only if, you would like to have cheese with your tacos, it is worth knowing that old cheeses generally have very little lactose in them because the lactose has been converted to lactic acid during the aging. A hack to tell how much lactose is in cheese is to go to the nutrition facts table and look at sugar. The sugar in cheese is lactose, so if the number is 0, there will be little to no lactose in the cheese. Your boyfriend tried to poison you. Why are you still with him? Today I learned how to figure out lactose content. I've realized that better cheese doesn't bother me much, and fake cheese will make me erupt like I was Jupiter's moon Io. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something that you didn't know before. If you haven't already, please do feel free to click that like button, as it really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already and you love today's video, please feel free to subscribe. I would love it a lot. Also, big shout out to all my Patreon members and channel subscribers. You guys are all up on the screen right now. I love you. I love your faces. Also, I love seeing you guys all chatting down below in the comments. It brightens my day to see the stories that you guys share and just the kind words you guys always have for my videos, as well as everyone else in the videos. I love you too. But honestly, your ongoing support means the world to me, and I just love it so much that you guys are able to support a career for myself that I invest so much time into. And you guys honestly motivate me to work harder each and every day to put more love into the videos for you guys. If you guys have watched this far in the video and you haven't already subscribed on Patreon or become a channel member, that's cool, you don't have to, but there are links down below. You can donate any amount of money, pledge that any month, cancel whenever. I'm completely cool with it. It's just there for you to support me if you'd like to go the extra mile. And I'll go the extra mile for you guys by putting out new amazing content every single day. With that said, guys, I really hope you have a good day, night, sleep, bath, time at work, whatever you're up to today. This has been Markee. I'll see you in the next amazing video. Bye.